I am running late and it is incredibly hot. There is no time for jokes. Hey everybody, welcome to week 5 of CIT 12 in the summer. My name is Brian Baker. You already knew that. This is our last normal, full week. Next week is a short week. It's kind of like our finals week, which is odd in a class that only has 6 weeks. Because of that, I want to make stuff available for people on the weekend if the weekend is the only time you have to do work. I know a lot of people have jobs, you have families, a lot of people do their work on the weekend, so I want to make that possible. Week 5, we're going to have our last chapters, all right? So quizzes, all going to be done. We're going to have our last discussion. There will be no discussion in week 6. We will be done with our labs. The only 2 things that you will have to do in week 6 are going to be your PowerPoint practical exam or PowerPoint hands-on test, depending on where you're reading it, and also your final exam for the class. That is just 100 questions, multiple choice, taken just like it's a quiz, except that it's taken in my IT lab. But it's the exact same pool of questions. So you will have seen a lot of those questions already. Just 2 things to do in week 6. But I'm gonna cheat week 6 a little bit and make those 2 things available this weekend. So this weekend, you'll have the ability to just finish up the class if you want to, because this upcoming weekend will be your last weekend for the class. All right, so what are we doing here in week 5? We're gonna be covering our last 2 chapters, chapters 8 and 9. Chapter 8 is on digital devices. It is laughable. There is no way a college textbook publisher could possibly keep up with things, and they have not. So enjoy the quiz questions. If you have a laugh, have a laugh. Just search real quick in the e-textbook and you'll be fine. The only reason I'm even keeping the chapter in the class is because our final exam is department-wide and you will see questions from chapter 8 in the department-wide final. But otherwise, yeah. Chapter 9, however, super important. This is all about security. Security is a huge topic in computing because security has become such a big liability for companies. It's become a huge liability for everybody. We are worried about cybersecurity attacks. We've already experienced them. I mean, just this week, 12 indictments for hacking the Democratic National Committee's servers. And regardless of your political affiliation, it is a bad thing. So we want to protect ourselves from it. And when you think about it, the thing that protects almost everything you have of value online is the worst possible thing. Passwords are terrible. So here in week 5 for our last discussion, we are going to be really, really practical when it comes to security, and we're going to be talking about your passwords. We're also going to be looking at whether or not you've already been the victim of a data breach. Starting out with a couple websites I want you to check out. The first one is haveibeenpwned.com. Again, there are instructions and a video showing you how to do all this. Haveibeenpwned.com, and just use the link in the discussion thing because I'm going to have to tell you how pwned is spelled, and it's a silly name for a website, but it actually provides a fairly good service. You can put in your email address, and so a lot of times after a company has been hacked, sometime later, people want to take credit for it. However this happens, a lot of that data ends up just out on the web in various places where they do data dumps. We don't necessarily have time to get into where to find all this information, and honestly, there are some places you probably don't want to look online, but it's out there. And so this company or this group goes out, finds that information, and looks at the accounts that have been compromised. And so by putting in your email address, they can determine, hey, has your email address, has one of your accounts already shown up in one of these data dumps? And there have been some big companies that have been hacked recently. I mean, Adobe, LinkedIn. If you are the victim of a data breach, that tells you that your password has been compromised. One of the best ways of getting passwords for hackers is by using passwords that they've already found on accounts from other hacks. So it is really hard to hack, let's say, the Bank of America servers. Probably a lot easier to hack LinkedIn. Well, if you're using the same password for LinkedIn and for Bank of America, guess who now has your password for Bank of America? Check out haveibeenpwned.com. It'll tell you if you've been the victim of a data breach, and if you have, then you know you have some work to do. You're going to need to change some passwords. Next, howsecureismypassword.net. Howsecureismypassword.net is a fairly reliable and respected website, so you can trust it. But all you have to do is, it's stupid easy. Just there's a box, accounts, you type in your password that you use for most of your accounts, and it will tell you how long it would take to hack that password using brute force methods. That means just trying every possible combination of characters until we hit a password, how long it would take to crack your password. There are programs, I mean, you don't have to be a super genius here. There are already existing programs that you can find online. I'm not going to tell you the names of any of them. You're not networking students. If you were, I would, because you got to teach locksmiths how to pick locks. But point being, there are tools out there that any 13-year-old can use to hack your password. So if you have a good password, it could take them a billion years, right? If you have a bad password, it'll take less than 1 second. Anyway, check out, see how secure your password is. There's a third option there, or a third step, which is talking about 1Password. Honestly, a lot of that functionality is now built into the operating systems. I'm probably going to get rid of that here in a second. So don't worry about that one so much. If you want to take a look at the product, you will probably recognize some functionality, especially if you're like a Mac OS X user or somebody who uses sort of a lot of the Google products. But regardless, take a look at it. If you don't respond to 1Password, that's fine. Essentially, it's just something that manages your passwords for you, so it creates these incredibly long, complex passwords, and then you just have to remember 1Password that allows you to get access to all your other passwords. And to which smart people will say, hey, but what if you can hack the 1Password? Then wouldn't I have all of your passwords? That is very astute of you, and that's why passwords should not be the way we protect stuff online. And then the last thing for the week are our last 3 labs in PowerPoint. From most feedback I've gotten from students, the labs on PowerPoint are the easiest labs of the semester. You're essentially creating slides, creating a little slideshow presentation. Slideshow presentations still really popular for sort of training and events. You generally see a PowerPoint presentation of some sort. And by the way, you're going to learn a lot of things in PowerPoint you should never use. I think it's cute to make a funny noise, or I like doing fancy wipes in between. It just looks unprofessional. So the more you know about PowerPoint, probably the worse you're going to be at creating presentations. Keep it simple. And then, actually engage with your audience is probably the best way to do PowerPoint. There are other ways of doing stuff. Video, for instance, is a great way to train. You probably already know that, because if you don't know how to do something, you probably search YouTube, just like I do, just like most people do. I don't know how to hang a door. YouTube. I don't know how to fix my sink. It seems to be leaking. YouTube, right? They'll tell you all about O-rings. There's no way in heck we're ever going to talk about how to create video in a class like this. We do have classes on creating video in the GRC department, as well as, I assume, film, but they probably take a different angle on it. And that is it. By Sunday at 11:59 p.m., you should be done with every lab, with the exception of that last practical exam, but all the labs should be done for all 3 programs. All of your quizzes should be done for all 9 chapters that we're going to cover, and every discussion should be done. I mean, this class will be mostly done by this Sunday. Expect another one of these videos next weekend, just sort of to finish up the class. But yeah, this class pretty much ends this week and just sort of continues on with the last little bits next week. And of course, you still have kind of a 1-week grace period up to Thursday. So those last 2 assignments clearly do not have a grace period, and assignments for this week do not have a full week, right? The class ends on Thursday, grades get turned in on Friday. So everything done by not this upcoming Thursday, but the following Thursday. All right, that's it. Have a great week, and I will see you online.